unstable.
Oh, wow.
And so they started the dry needling, and she couldn't hardly get the needles in.
Oh,
Because the muscle was so contracted. But it was the first time I ever sat up. By the time she was done, I was able to like sit straight up. Like I can't sit straight up.
Oh.
That's awesome. Yeah, it was fast. It was really amazing. I had a good like 4 or 5 months of.
Okay, it
Relief.
lasted that long.
Mhm.
Cool.
Yeah.
Honestly,
But I was also doing the PT. Sorry, Kayla, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I was doing PT twice a week at that point still, and well, not for 5 months, but at home I kept up with it, and it made all the difference.
Is that tender?
Yeah, if I can feel it right down my back.
I'm super interested in the acupuncture and acupressure that we're going to be doing.
Me too. Super
Yes.
interested in that.
There's so much you can do just by pinpointing our
Mhm.
bundles and stuff.
Yeah. The meridian, I think Asian is so fun.
I'm excited for
It like, I feel like it's just a nice way to look at the body. Totally different than what we're like used to looking at it, and then when you guys feel like the energy moving, it's just super cool. You as like the person receiving. Has anyone in here had acupuncture before?
I
that.
have
You have?
in my hands and my feet.
How was it?
It was interesting. It was with the Dr. Jill that
Yeah.
I've told you guys about. She was rewiring my motherboard. That is how she puts it in the most lamest term she can.
Did she use your palms or the back of your hands?
She did in this area right here,
Your thumbs?
in the thumb and
Large
first
intestine
finger
and more.
area. She didn't do palms. She only did like the backs of my hands and then the tops of my feet.
Could you tell the difference?
Yes, with what she was doing, I could. It was interesting too because sometimes you couldn't feel the needle at all, except for when she did the little tap into your skin.
Yeah.
And then sometimes it hurt like a son of a gun. And when she took those ones out, they were bent about like that far.
Oh.
Yeah. The hands and feet have like the beginning and the ends of the meridians are the mover, like the biggest movers of the energy. So a lot of times they put one at the beginning and one at the end of a meridian, and it clears the entire meridian without having to really stick needles in between. And a lot of them end at some are on the face and some are on the hands and some are on the feet. The beginnings and the ends.
So you're just bracing and kind of like hugging with the top hand and just maneuvering.
Yeah, so the top hand, so it's almost like it softens in an area, so I move my hand towards it, and then when I get a hard like feel, I stop, and then something else softens, so I move towards that, and then I stop, and then it's kind of like the body's like, no, go this way, do this. So it's really subtle. So definitely next class we'll go into it.
Yeah, y'all have to experience this.
I think I've been kind of doing it with the tennis balls a little bit because I tried to quickly do it in the morning. I messed myself up actually because I quickly did it. And at night, like I can take like an hour for those muscles around the actual place to like soften enough to get my rib to push out where it needs to, but it takes a minute.
You would love this.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of moving the balls with the hardness of the muscles in a way. Is that kind of what you're doing?
Yeah, totally. And it kind of, I don't know, when you're doing it to yourself, you can feel it a little bit more because you're like, oh yeah, I want to go this way with it. Totally. So.
It's interesting.
It is.
Interesting how the muscle, like, it feels like it's just.
What is that called? Will had a severe skate injury, and his massage therapist was doing this for him, following the muscles. It was just like we are. What'd you call this again? I'm so sorry.
Unwinding?
Unwinding.
Yeah.
So she must have just been unwinding Will, but he's kind of like obsessed with it. Like he loves it. He'll do it. He's had this injury maybe 20 years ago or something like that.
Okay, yeah.
And he still does it.
Yeah.
Those injuries will stick around.
Do you guys ever like lay on a hard surface and straighten out your back to help relieve your lower back from pain sometimes? Okay, I'm not doing
Yeah, sometimes if it's hurting, like after I lift somebody really heavy, you know, then but I find that foam roller makes a huge difference.
Okay.
Because,
Like last night, I went home, and when I laid down on the floor, and in the kitchen, I had my feet up against the counter, so that my back was completely flat against the floor, and it felt so good.
I do like to lay with my legs up against the wall. Sometimes it takes all that pressure off. See, can you feel that?
Like the pulsing of your low back?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty intense.
Like right there, you feel that? Like,
It's like boom, boom,
yeah.
boom, boom. I think there's something right here, like maybe.
I had a bone
Scarred.
transplant right there.
Oh.
So there's a scar that goes from back here
Uh,
to here across my hip bone. I'm
I was
sorry.
like,
Wow.
I was gonna say, I'm like, I think there's some scar tissue right here.
Yeah, there's about a
Nice.
yeah. When I was 16, I had a bone transplant.
Okay.
And you can feel it. It goes right where your hand is. It's right there on the.
Okay, that makes
That's
sense.
pretty amazing. You can feel that.
Yeah.
That's fascinating to me.
Well,
Like really fascinating.
I know, I'm
I
like,
can't
I
believe
wanna
you got
touch
like that.
it.
I was like, what? Yeah.
well, and also scar tissue it takes a little bit longer to unwind.
So, what do you
Okay.
feel like?
Let me think if I can use description words. So, with normal tissue, like healthy tissue, it's softer and it responds faster. And with scar tissue, it's like a little bit more like, it's closer to more of a tendon feeling, not quite as wiry as a tendon, but it definitely has like more of a stiffness to it. So like here, I think some of your muscles are kind of stuck to your scar. Like it feels like it feels a little bit more sticky, I guess. Just like stuff doesn't want to move freely around it.
Well, and after the scar pulled apart before it healed, so it healed wider in one section, so it's about this long, and then part of it.
Is wider.
Mhm.
Oh, interesting.
But it went straight out. So they took the bone marrow out of my pelvis, and so, but they took it like, so you know how your hip bones kind of protrude, like this one's normal, but this one's dipped in a little bit because
Of where they took a
where
chunk.
they took the bone marrow out.
Okay. Interesting. Well, that explains why you have more issues on this side, because
I didn't
there's
think
that
about that.
scars.
Well, and I favored it for a long time because it affected my way I could walk. I couldn't walk right for a long time till it all healed up,
Okay.
and then you have to wait for the bone marrow and all that to, I guess, regenerate. How I say that.
Yeah, and that's interesting because, like, and that's kind of what we're talking about today is like your body maybe doesn't totally still trust this area, so you just always have just walk differently. So
I know. Whenever I stand, I take all the pressure off my right side.
okay.
I automatically cross my leg over my
Oh yeah, that's what you're
left leg
saying.
because it just takes all the pressure off what I thought was my back, but maybe it's not necessarily my back. So maybe it's that.
All right.
Thank you, Sarah.
Yeah. Do you guys have any questions?
I can't wait to learn it.
Yeah, I think if you guys want to play around this weekend on someone with that, feel free.
So your hand was like this the whole time?
Yep.
Oh shit.
And then were you pushing up at all, or just bracing?
I was pushing a little bit just to kind of make that like hug feeling.
Okay, and then this hand was just rolling?
Yep. And then this one's doing most of the work.
Okay.
And it's just kind of follows. I mean, it's pretty micro movement, but it's like you could tell like when something relaxes, you kind of like move into it.
So you move into the more relaxed section of it?
Yep. Yep.
Mm.
So, yeah. So.
Okay, gotcha. That was pretty amazing. Thank you so much.